Hello everybody. So good evening and welcome to class. Sorry I was away for a while. Can you see something on your screen? Okay, now I can also see. Previously I was not able to see the document which I have uploaded. Alright, so today we are going to discuss about right now we are talking about money. Okay, the topic is money and banking. Good evening Sandeep. So right now today we are going to discuss about the commercial banks. Okay, we will discuss about what is a commercial bank, what are their main functions, and what is this credit creation, and what is the significance of commercial banks in any economy. Okay, so you have any idea about these things? Anybody knows what is credit creation? Hello? So am I audible to everybody? Others are not writing. Okay. Kelvin, Diljesh, Satish, Asya. Good evening, Kelvin. So I hope everybody can hear me. All right. So today we are going to discuss about the commercial banks. So commercial banks are those banks which deal commercially or which carry out the commercial functions of any economy. They are known as the commercial banks. Okay. 1 minute. Okay, so commercial bank is a financial institution which is there for dealing with the public, and it is, we can say it is like it is always a licensed bank. Licensed bank means the one which has got the legal license, like for conducting certain businesses, a license is required. So banking is one of them. So the bank which has a license is called a scheduled bank. Okay, that we will be discussing later. So now let us see. A commercial bank is a financial institution which performs the functions of accepting deposits from the general public and giving loans for investment with the aim of earning profit. Now you know these banks, they are basically divided into two categories. Like we can say there are two main categories, and then these categories are further subdivided into other categories. Like we have commercial banks and we have central bank. Okay, central bank is the chief monetary authority in any economy. it is like every country is having a central bank. It is that institution which acts as the banker for the government. Like government has its own funds. It has got its income. It want to invest. It has got n number of dealings with money. So where do they go and keep their money? Their money is always deposited with the central bank of the country. And we always say that the government issues the currency. The government does not do that. The central bank of the country does that work for the government of the country. The central bank is the authority which mints the money. Mints means printing the money. So they have the authority to mint the money, and that money can be circulated in the economy. So central bank is the chief banking All right. So, can you name the central bank of your country? Anybody knows the name of the central banking institution? Okay. Now let's get back to this. So that central bank is the chief monetary authority. You know, when there is a financial crisis in any economy, or when certain thing is wrong and that has to be corrected, and the measure has to be taken. So that measure will be taken by the central bank on behalf of the government. Every country, every measure that we do, just a minute. It has, there are basically two operations. So monetary and fiscal. Now do you know the difference between the two of them, monetary and fiscal? Monetary means related to money, and fiscal means other things. Okay, so this monetary function, this is in the hands of the central bank of the country. Okay, central bank is the authority which is going to take care of these monetary functions. They are the measures which are related to money. So they will be in the hands of the central bank of the country. And fiscal is by the government. Okay, so they are in the hands of the government. Monetary and physical measures, they are there. So this is the reason why the central bank of any country is very important. But right now we'll be studying about the commercial banks. So commercial banks are banks which come under the premises of the central bank. They are under the central bank. Central bank is the apex institution as said by Kelvin, and the others are under it. So now let's see, what is it? A commercial bank is a financial institution which performs the functions of accepting deposits from the general public and giving loans for investment with the aim of earning profit. Okay, so their function is to, main function is to accept the deposits from the public. Like every day people go to the bank to deposit their money. So that is their main function, and the second part of the function is giving loans for investment, and they do all this for the purpose of earning profit. So commercial banks, as their name suggests, they are ex-profit seeking institutions. That is, they do banking business to earn profit. They don't do anything for charity. Like the central bank of the country, it may sometimes overlook its profit and it will do certain things. Like the Reserve Bank, it may just let go its profit if it is in the favor of the country. It will take that step. But a commercial bank will never do that. It has to have a profit, only then it will undertake any operation. So they generally finance the trade and commerce with short-term loans. They charge high rates of interest from the borrowers but pay much less rate of interest to their depositors, with the result that the difference between the two rates of interest becomes the main source of profits of the banks. Like when you deposit your money into the bank, then what is that forces you to do that, or that attracts you? It is the interest which you are going to get on your money. So, but the banks, they pay very low rate of interest on that deposit, and when you take a loan from the bank, then they charge the interest at a very high rate. So this difference of two rates of interest is the source of profits for the banks. Okay. So in India, there are many commercial banks like Punjab National Bank, Allahabad Bank, Canara Bank, Andhra Bank, Bank of Baroda, etc. And just a second. Okay. So Punjab National Bank, Allahabad, Canara, Andhra, there are many commercial banks in India, and these commercial banks are further divided into public and private banks. Public are those which are under the control of the government. Okay, some percentage of holding is with the government. In fact, major portion of the shares is with the government, and the private banks are those which are owned by private people, means they are not under the aegis of government, like ICICI, Yes Bank. These are all examples of private banks. And Punjab National Bank, State Bank of India, these are all government banks. Alright, good evening Prabha. Now, let's see what are the different features of commercial banks. I hope the things are clear to everybody so far. Good evening, Sunil. Are the things clear, everybody? Can you just tell me that? Okay. I'm seeing some new students in the class. It's really good. So, now the most distinctive features of the commercial banks are borrowing and lending. They borrow money from the people in the form of the deposits, and they lend it to the people in the form of loans. So banks are the medium through which the surplus funds of a person are transferred to a deficit person. Okay, a person who is in deficit of money, he gets his requirement fulfilled with the help of the loan which he gets from the bank. Like we go to bank and we make a fixed deposit for a period of 5 years. So where will that where our money of sum of 1 lakh rupees be kept in that 5 years? It will be handed over to another person. Okay, one who is in need of that. That person will take it as a loan. So, and the rate at which this borrowing and lending is done is called the lending rate. So the difference between the rates is called the spread, which is appropriated by the banks. So all functional institutions are not commercial banks, because only those which perform dual functions of accepting deposits and giving loans are termed as commercial banks. Like there are many institutions which do not accept deposits, they only offer loans. And there are others which only accept deposits and they do not offer loans. Like for example, post offices. They are not considered as banks because they do not give loan to people, they only accept their deposits. We have a scheme in the name of Kisan Vikas Patra in India. Kisan Vikas Patra. Okay. So that is something which is operated by the post offices, and over here people only deposit their money in the bank, in the post office, and they get interest on that. Okay. And after a period of 8 years or so, the money almost doubles. So that is one way of deposit of saving money. So they are not banks because they only accept the money. Now there are some institutions which only offer loans. Can you tell me? You have any idea? Like there is Mudhoot FinCorp. No, these are all banks. Who wrote that? Sunil? ICICI, HSBC, they are all private banks. Okay. Because they are doing the dual function. They are taking money from the people and they are giving loans also, depositing and lending. So they are banks. So like Mudhoot FinCorp, Mudhoot Finance, that is an example of a financial institution only. It is not a bank because it only gives loan. Okay. So now the functions of the bank are divided into two categories, primary and secondary. Primary, as is very obvious from the name, it is the main function, and secondary are the secondary functions. Like secondary functions support the banking process. They are undertaken to make the process of banking little smoother. They are undertaken for the convenience of the customers. So now the primary function and the most important one is accepting deposits from the people. And these deposits are further divided into three categories. Okay. We have current deposit accounts, we have savings account, and we have term deposit account. There are three different types of accounts which we can, or deposit schemes which we can invest in. So current, savings and fixed deposits. Now we'll see them in detail. So what does the bank do? It collects the surplus balances of the individuals, firms. Yes, Prabha. Yeah, there was some portion left in that, isn't it? Some like 7-8 slides were left in that. Yeah. Okay. So once we are done with this, I'll just upload that. Okay. It just skipped off my mind. Till last class I remembered, but today it just skipped off. And what was left in that inflation was certain theoretical things only. Disadvantage, advantage, significance, all that was there. So we can do it if we are done today with this. Alright. So yeah, so the first task is first type of deposit is the current deposit. Now current deposit is normally a banking deposit which is available to the people who want to do transactions many number of times in a day. Okay, and that is in the case of business only. Like businessmen need money many times a day. They sometimes want to withdraw, they sometimes want to deposit. So current account is opened for them. It is normally for the business people. Any one of you hold a current account in the bank? Okay, Nixon. So Nixon, you are into some kind of business? I mean, you need money frequently. Those who might be needing it, they might be having it. Normally people have savings. Yeah, and savings and then the best is so first is the current account deposits. So such deposits are payable on demand. Yeah, that means you can withdraw your money anytime you want, and they are called demand deposits. Okay, that's good to hear that you all have, many of you are having current account also. Now, since the people are withdrawing money every now and then, so the bank does not offer any interest on these type of deposits, because it's really difficult to keep a note. So they don't offer any interest on this deposit, and they give checkbook to people. Okay, the system is a little different there. All right. So if you want to do transactions through checks, you have to have a current account. Oh. So these accounts are generally maintained by businessmen and industrialists who receive and make business payments of large amounts through checks. Yes, and it is like throughout the day you can transact. There is a certain limit. Like for usage of ATM, there is a limit. You can withdraw this number of times in a month. So similarly, there also there is a deposit. There is a limit, and that is for the day. Then the next is fixed deposits. Yes, it's a RD account. Just a second. Okay, for you it's 600 a day. All right. Yeah, the next is the fixed deposit. This fixed deposit is a very simple account to understand. Just a minute. Okay, so fixed deposit is that in which you invest a sum of money for a fixed period of time. There is normally a locking period in this type of account. Like you make an FDR for a period of 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, depending upon your needs. Okay, so that is a fixed term deposit, and the rate of interest is highest in this type of account because the money remains with the bank for a very long period of time. Okay, you can withdraw only after the maturity. If you break your FDR in between due to certain reasons, then you will get a very low interest on that. You will lose some of the benefits which you might otherwise get. And if you go for a tax saving FDR, which is there in India, it might not be there in UAE. So that is like for that the locking period is 5 years, and you cannot withdraw your money at any cost in that 5 years time period. You will get it only on maturity. Then the last is the savings account deposit. This is like simple, everybody knows about it, and they have got both the features of current and fixed deposits. Like as the current account, you are going to get a checkbook. Actually, it is the term FDR is used for fixed deposit receipt. Okay, Nixon, that is receipt. You get a paper from the bank, isn't it? So that is receipt. Fixed deposit receipt you say, and the account is fixed deposit account. Yes, so savings banks are a combination of the current and the fixed deposit. So you can withdraw money on demand and also by check. The rate of interest is less than that of the fixed deposit. Now there are two. Okay. demand or when you need it. Okay, that is demand deposit. That means the current account and savings account, they fall under this category. And term deposit is which is time bound. You can withdraw only after a period of time. So that is fixed deposit account. Wilfred, you cannot break the current account. Okay, like you cannot break the savings, you cannot break the current account. You can break only the FDR. The FD which you have made, that can only be broken. Yes, you will be losing some benefits, lots of benefits in fact, which you may be getting on that FDR. The interest will be very low, you might not even get the interest. Then there are other things which might just be done away with. Okay. Now this was about the first function. Now the second function is it gives loans and advances. This is also a primary function of the bank. So the second major function of a commercial bank is to give loans and advances, particularly to businessmen and entrepreneurs, and thereby earn interest. Yes, they get interest on this, and this is their main source of income. This is in fact the main source of income of the bank. A bank keeps a certain portion of the deposits with itself as a reserve and gives the balance to the borrowers as loans and advances in the form of cash credit, demand loans, short-run loans, overdraft, etc. You know what is this overdraft? Okay, we can see it in detail now. So and the bank does not give the full amount as loan to the customer. Like suppose you apply for a loan of 10 lakhs. Then you will not get full 10 lakhs as the loan. Bank will deduct certain percentage as its service tax, as its service charge we can say. It is mandatory for the banks to keep certain reserve with them. Like if it's say 20%, so they will keep 2 lakhs with them and they will advance only 8 lakhs to you. Okay. Yes, Diljesh, somewhat it's right. It's advance credit, but let's see how is it functioning. So what the credit which is given, the credit of the loan that is offered by the bank are of various types. One is the cash credit. So what is this? An eligible borrower is first sanctioned a credit limit, and within that limit he is allowed to withdraw a certain amount of money on a given security. So the withdrawing part depends on the borrower's current assets, the stock statement of which is submitted by him to the bank as the basis of security. So interest is charged by the bank on the drawn or the utilized portion of credit. So cash credit is suppose this is like the home loan account. You have taken a home loan of say 5 lakhs. Okay, so you cannot withdraw 5 lakhs in one go. You have to withdraw it maybe in the installments of 20,000 every month. Okay, so you cannot withdraw the entire amount of money in one go. So that is called a what is it known as? It is known as a cash credit. Then the next is demand loans. Demand loan is a loan which can be recalled on demand. When the bank needs, it may ask you to pay it up. There is no stated maturity. So the entire loan amount is paid in lump sum by crediting it to the loan account of the borrower. Like those like security brokers whose credit needs fluctuate generally take such loans on personal security and financial assets. It is normally taken by these people whose financial needs are fluctuating. They can withdraw the money in one go. Then what is the difference between the two? Cash credit and demand loans. Like in cash credit, the bank is not going to give you the entire amount in one go. Okay, your limit is 10 lakhs and you can get only 20,000 at a time. This is you are bound by a limit. But in case of the demand loan, entire 10 lakhs will be credited in your account in one go, and you can withdraw as per your need. Okay. Then the next is the short-term loans. Short-term loans are simple. They are for a short period of time, and you have to give a security against these. So the entire amount is repaid either in one installment or in a number of installments over the period of loan. That depends on choice of the customer, the mutual understanding. Now, one thing we have left out, that is overdraft. Now, what is this overdraft? Overdraft is the facility which is available to the businessmen and industrialists and entrepreneurs. This is what, like, you have a business and the total worth of your business is calculated as 20 lakhs. Okay. So based on this 20 lakh worth of your business, you will get a certain percentage as the overdraft limit. That means you can withdraw more money in your from your account than what is actually in it. Like suppose you are having 4 lakh rupees in your account and you are in need of 6 lakh rupees. So what you can do is you can withdraw 6 lakhs from the bank, and the bank is going to charge interest from you on extra 2 lakhs which you have withdrawn. In spite of not having in your account, you are withdrawing that. So bank is going to charge interest from you for that extra 2 lakhs rupees. Okay. So this is also taken by big businessmen, wholesalers, entrepreneurs who are in need, who may be in need of more money than what is there in their account. Okay. And how is the limit decided? The limit is decided on the basis of the worth of your business. How much is the worth of the business? On that basis, your overdraft limit will be sanctioned by the bank. Is it clear, everybody? Okay. So what does this commercial bank do? The commercial banks invest their surplus fund in 3 types of securities: government securities, other approved securities, and other securities. Okay, they may invest the extra money which they are having in either of these type of securities. Now, what are the secondary functions? These were the major functions. Major functions were giving loan and accepting deposits. So we discussed about that, and also we discussed about the different categories into which these accounts can be categorized. Now, the secondary functions are the supporting functions of the banks. Now, first is discounting the bills of exchange or bundles. This is something which we already have discussed previously. So, a bill of exchange represents a promise to pay a fixed amount of money at a specific point of time in future. So it can also be encashed earlier through discounting process of a commercial bank. So what will the person do? The person will, we have an example here. A buys goods from B. He may not pay B immediately, but instead give B a bill of exchange stating the amount of money owed and the time when A will settle the debt. Just 1 minute. Okay. Monthly rent on that locker facility. Okay. Then sometimes they provide utility services, like something which will help the customer, that function they are going to perform. Like traveler's check, they issue traveler's checks. Then locker facility, the underwriting securities issued by government, public or private body. Like sometimes the bank informs or intimates its customer about a new share or new security which has been offered in the market by the government or public or private body. It can do that also. Then purchase and sale of foreign exchange. They can help the customers in that also. Okay. Now the next and the most important functions of commercial banks is credit creation. You know what is that? Anybody knows about that? Okay. Like apart from all those functions, this is perhaps a very important function which the commercial banks perform. Now credit creation means creation of money. Now how do they create money? No, Nixon, not bonds. Now how is that function performed? Suppose as a customer you have 1000 rupees, or I'll just make a chart over here. 1 minute. I'll just first draw it, then I'll explain. Okay. Now suppose there are 4 banks in question, A, B, C, D. Okay. Let us assume that. And these banks are commercial banks. So now suppose there is customer comes to bank A and he deposits 1000 rupees in the bank A. Okay. So now 1000 is deposited with bank A. Now what is the next step? Every bank has got a compulsory reserve ratio. Okay. That may be known as SLR. SLR stands for statutory liquidity ratio. SLR, that stands for statutory liquidity ratio. Okay, what is this? This is like every bank has a guideline from the Reserve Bank of India that they have to maintain a certain percentage of the deposit which they have to maintain the liquidity in the bank. Like suppose they are getting 1000 rupees as a deposit and this SLR has been decided at 10%. Then after deducting 10% only, 10% of this 1000, they can proceed further with the operations. So how much is 10% of 1000? Yes, 100. So now the bank A will keep 100 rupees with it, and now what is left with the bank? It is left with 900. Okay, it is left with rupees 900. So now what is the bank going to do, it can offer this 900 as a loan to its customer. Okay, it is in a position to lend this 900 to its customer, another customer. Alright, now suppose Mr. B comes to, not Mr. B, suppose Mr. Z comes to a bank A and he gets 900 rupees from the bank, and then he goes and deposit this 900 in bank B. Okay, now 100 will remain with bank A. Prabha, 100 will be with bank A because bank A has to maintain this compulsory ratio. It cannot overlook that. It cannot offer full 1000. This 100 is needed like for the smooth functioning of the bank, day-to-day operations, payment of salaries, day-to-day operations which are there. Yes, as a reserve, it will remain with bank A. Now, suppose this person, that Mr. Z, he goes to Mr. Bank B and he deposits 900. He takes 900, he keeps 900 in the bank. So, now what will bank B do? It will again deduct 10%. Now 10% of 900 will be 90. Now what is left? 810. Yes, 810. So now the bank will keep this 810, bank will keep this 90 and it can offer 810 to another customer. Now suppose another customer comes, he gets 810 as the like loan or advance cash. He will go to bank C. So bank C will get 810 as the deposit. Again, after deducting 10%, that is 81 rupees, it will be in a position to give the remaining amount. What is the remaining amount now? How much? 729. Okay. So now that person, the third person, he goes to bank D and he keeps 729 there. Now this 729, the 10% of this will be 72.9. So now what is left? How much is the amount available with bank D now, which it can offer as a loan? Okay, 656. 650, someone is saying. I'll make it round figure, 650. So now you see there have been 4 banks in the picture, and can you do the total of this column? 1000 plus 900 plus 810 plus 729. Can you do that? You have to do the total of all the columns. Anyone doing that? Okay, 3439. 3439. Okay, what is the column total of the second column? 343.9. Yeah, it has to be because it is 10%. And what is the last one? Total of last column? 3119. Okay. 2 answers, different answers. Let it be, not a much of difference. So now you see that this 1000 rupees has been used or has been created to the extent of 3439. This 100 has been converted into 343.9 and this 900 has been changed to 3119 because of the subsequent lending of money in different banks. So this is the process of credit creation. Okay, so this is a very important function of the commercial banks. They help the economy in the creation of the credit. Amount from one person goes to another, and from that another to a third, from third to fourth, fourth to fifth. So this is how the money circulates in the economy and the credit is created. So the volume of the money increases, not in physical terms but in terms of value. 1000 changes to 3439. Alright? Did you understand this? Yes, this is very important, this function. And like for this, there is a particular term that is called the credit multiplier. Credit multiplier or money multiplier. So that helps to decide how much will the money be multiplied. I mean, how many times the money will be multiplied. That is a ratio, and there is a way to calculate it, which we can see. So now the total deposits of the bank are of two types. One is the primary deposit and one is the secondary deposit. Like in that example, 1000 rupees was the primary deposit. Okay, and whatever was deposited after that in other banks, that was the secondary deposit. That was coming out of that 1000 only. Okay, so primary deposit is when you invest your money for the very first time. So the money creation by commercial banks is determined by two factors, namely the primary deposits and the legal reserve ratio, that is LRR. Okay, it is known by different names, but over here it is LRR. So that means the minimum ratio of deposits which is legally compulsory for the commercial banks to keep as cash in liquid form. So broadly, this is something that I have explained. Now let us go to the example that is given. You can see, suppose a man says X, deposit rupees 2000 with the bank and the LRR is 200. So the bank will keep rupees 200 as the cash reserve and can use the remaining 1800 for giving loan to someone else. And you mind that loan is never given in cash, but it is deposited in the bank as demand deposit in the favor of the borrower. Now the bank lends rupees 1800 to Mr. Y. Yeah, you can just remember as LRR. Alright, whatever is written over here. SLR is also not wrong, but you remember it as LRR, Nixon. Liquidity reserve ratio. So now the bank gives 1800 to Mr. Y. So, and Mr. Y, he is not given the loan, but only demand deposit account is opened in his name and the amount is credited to his account. Okay, he in the same bank only, in bank A only, he is another customer, Mr. Y, has been given a loan amount of 1800 without handing over the cash directly, but opening an account in his name. Now again 10% of Y's deposit, that is 180, is kept by the bank as cash reserve, and the balance, that is 1620, is advanced to say Mr. Z. This all is happening in the same bank. So I would just like to make one correction in that example. It should be bank A everywhere, or we can say it's customer A, B, C and D. Alright, it is for different customers. The bank is the same. When it varies from bank to bank, that is multiple credit creation. That is a different concept. So we see that like this process will continue. Okay, so the process of credit creation goes on continuously till the derivative deposits, that is the secondary deposit, means this column. When this column, secondary deposit is this column. When this column becomes 0, till that time this process will continue. So we see that in this case, and this quantitative outcome is called the money multiplier. So if the bank succeeds in creating total credit of rupees 18,000, so it means the bank has created 9 times of primary deposit of 2,000. Okay, because 2 into 9 is 18,000. So it has multiplied its money 9 times. That is the money multiplier effect. That is what is meant by the credit creation. Alright? Is this clear? Everybody? So for like how do we represent it? It is initial deposits into 1 upon LPR. So very hard to consume. Okay, you're finding it difficult, Wilfred? If you'll go through your text once, it will be a little easy. Okay, it will become a little easy, and since it's your first class, so you might be having a little bit problem. It's LRR actually, it's not LPR, it's a misprint over here. So this is the formula for like calculating the money multiplier. Initial deposits into 1 upon LRR. So you see, if the initial deposit is 1000 upon 1 into the LRR. LRR is like 10%. So 10 will cancel this. So the money multiplier that we get is 10. Okay. So this is how it is calculated. How much times the money is going to multiply and how many times it is going to go in the hands of the different people. So now what I'll do is I'll just wind up now, because this was the main part of that topic, and whatever has been left, yes Nixon, 10 times the money is going to multiply. So initial 2000 rupees is going to be changed to 20,000, or in that case it was 9 times. The multiplier effect was 9 times, so it changed into 18,000. So this all is left in this topic. Scheduled, non-scheduled, then significance of commercial banks. That is a simple thing. Their importance in the economy. That is theoretical. Okay. We can discuss some portion of this in the next class, along with that inflation part that is left. And we'll do something else apart from this. We'll do the functions of the central bank. Alright, everybody? So, thanks for your time, and please go through your textbooks so that you can have a better understanding of this credit creation. It is easy. Just give a good reading to the text, then it will be very easy for you. Okay? So, good night everyone. Thanks for your time. Have a great week ahead. Enjoy your work, and please fill the feedback form which you will be getting at the end of the class. Alright everyone. Good night. Bye. See you all in the next class. Take care.